All right. Hello and welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Discover Dallas session. My name is Hong Win, and I'm part of the Careers and Professional Development team. Specifically, I serve as the Employer Relations Partner here at WGU, where we get great employers and organizations connected with our students and vice versa. For today, I'm very excited to start today's session with the Dallas Regional Chamber. They're here to share a comprehensive overview of the Dallas region and explore their valuable talent resources that could help you enhance your career journey. So we have two great presenters today from the Dallas Regional Chamber, and I'm very excited to introduce Rebecca and Tyler, who will share about the vibrant job market and diverse industries within Dallas. So with that, Rebecca and Tyler, I will go ahead and pass things over to you both.
Thank you. The real challenge is going to be sharing my screen, even though we practiced this already. So, hi everyone. Um, this is Tyler. Tyler's going to kick us off. So, um, we make sure I can put it in presenting mode. Here's the real challenge. Let's see. Of course, this is right as we're recording. So if there's any
No,
questions while we're figuring this out, technical difficulties are always really fun. This is super
you're,
itty bitty here as I'm trying to work on this.
I think at the bottom, there should be like a little,
Um,
yeah, there we go.
oh, now it worked. Great.
There we go. Yep.
All right. Well, like Elizabeth or Rebecca said, I'll kick us off here. My name is Tyler Files. I'm our manager of talent strategies here at the Chamber. Been with here a little over 2 years now. So it's been a fun journey. Sometimes it feels like I've been here ages, but then other times it feels like I've only been here 2 months. That's what they say. The Chamber life is right. Like you just feel like you've been here, but then also times you're like, I have no clue what it feels like I'm doing at times. But it's a really fun and enjoyable experience. Rebecca's a really great colleague to work with. And so what we'll kind of get into today is kind of talk about an overview of the chamber, kind of what we do as the Dallas Regional Chamber, and kind of what sort of resources we have in place. But then we'll kick it over to Rebecca to kind of talk more about kind of the talent resources for the region. But if we specifically look at the Dallas Regional Chamber and kind of what we do. We have a strategic plan that we just introduced this year that for us elevated talent in the education of talent and workforce pipeline. So as our strategic plan as a whole, we have like four key priorities: prosperity, economic development. So bringing companies to the Dallas region, trying to get them to relocate here because Texas is a very business-friendly state and climate for employers. And so we want to bring them here to provide good jobs and opportunities for the region. Education, talent, and workforce, trying to meet the needs of our employers with the talent lifecycle and pipeline that the region has. So it's connecting all of our K through 12 education institutions, our higher education institutions like ourselves, and then also looking at some of our workforce development partners and organizations to help those kind of under-championed individuals step into those meaningful careers and career pathways. We also have a big public policy arm here at the Chamber where we help advocate for our members as well. So here up in the next couple of months, once the 89th Texas Legislature session gets kicked off, we'll be going down to Austin, advocating on behalf of our members and for the region to advance all of these policies that make it the best place in the region and the country to live, work, and do business. So our public policy team does a really great job there. And then another key component for us is diversity, inclusion, and community engagement. We know that there exists a ton of inequities here in the Dallas region. Specifically, if you kind of look at Dallas County, you can almost kind of split it in two with I-30 that runs through the middle. The north half of Dallas County is very prosperous, tons of economic output being developed there. But then the southern Dallas County, we like to say, is has about the population and size of like the Atlanta metro, but has vastly different quality of lives and opportunities for the people that live down there. And so a big key mission for us is help bring those folks, give them the opportunities to have those meaningful career pathways as well. But like I mentioned before, with this new strategic plan that we released, talent was a big thing that we heard, that we want you to continue to do talent attraction of bringing folks to the Dallas region, but we also want you to work on all of the people that exist there as well. Because we have about 8 million people that live here, and there's tons of talent here in the DFW region. So that's where my role has been to kind of help step into that talent space, kind of elevate it, find different ways we can partner, and just connect our business partners together to really make those connections more meaningful. Next slide, Rebecca. So with the DFW region being super massive and super large, we're like the third largest metro in the country, behind like Los Angeles, New York City, and maybe Chicago right now, but we're on track to surpass them. It's what we kind of call like the land of headquarters. We've had numerous amounts of headquarters relocate here to the Dallas region. And so on the next slide, Rebecca, you'll see that from across the country, we've had about actually, we're looking at the map here. Sorry there. But yeah, if you're just looking at the Dallas metro as a whole, DFW has about 8 million people, more than 7.3 million people from Houston. And so it's tons and tons of folks that live here in the Dallas region, which is why traffic gets really bad at times. It takes forever to get places, but that also means there's lots of opportunity here that as well. Next slide, Rebecca. So with all those opportunities and headquarters that have moved here, we've had about 250 new headquarters relocate here to DFW since 2010. 6 of those have been Fortune 500 companies, so really top of the tier in terms of like economic output and opportunity and jobs that are available. DFW is home to more than 47 Fortune 1000 companies, so any sort of big name company that you can think of probably has a headquarter here in DFW. There's about a couple hundred organizations as well that are also related to like finances. And so there's a Wall Street Journal article that was put out a couple weeks ago that kind of hinted that DFW is becoming the next kind of big Wall Street, if you will. And they called it Y'all Street, fittingly enough, for Texas, because specifically Goldman Sachs is opening a new headquarters office here. And so for financial aspects in the finance industry, Texas is becoming a really big market for that. And so we're really good to see that because that means a lot of opportunities are being brought here as well. Next slide, Rebecca. And so with that, the DFW economy is also incredibly diverse and dynamic. We are not just a one-stop shop for any specific industry. There is a ton of different industries that exist here. If you think of cities like Houston, which is oil and gas is like their main industries. That's all you really think of when you think of Houston, right? When you go down to Austin, you think IT, tech, kind of like the next Silicon Valley in a sense. But here in DFW, it is very diverse. Next slide, Rebecca. So to kind of help put that into perspective, we kind of used a Moody Index diversity score to kind of get a sense of what sort of industries and companies exist here. And so if you're to take the DFW industry and kind of look at it from that perspective, it scores about a 0.82, which puts it pretty close to on par of like the entire nation as well. So there's not just one industry that stands out above everything else. There's tremendous opportunities in a diverse set of industries that also kind of helps play into the stability of the region as well. So if something were to happen with, say, oil and gas down in Houston, right, their entire kind of regional economy gets really affected by that. Whereas here in DFW, if one industry gets hit pretty hard, it's not going to really ruin the rest of the regional economy because we're so diverse. We have so many opportunities here as well. Next slide, Rebecca. So with that, diverse economy, that also means that we have to find the talent to fill those jobs. And so part of what we're trying to do here at the Chamber and is being able to connect those resources and job opportunities from our companies to some of those under championed individuals, but also just to the region at large, because there is so much opportunity. Next slide. So with that, if you're to take the state of Texas as a whole, I think in the past couple months, there's about 775,000 job openings. So there's tons of opportunity in DFW, but if you look specifically at some of the top employed professions for DFW, management, business and financial services, office administration support, sales, education and training, healthcare practitioner. These were some of the top employed positions here in the region. But these positions are not just relegated to just one specific industry as well. They can be found in a diverse set of industries and companies all over the place. So there's tons of opportunity for you to come here, find a good job that pays a really good wage. But then there's also a lot of opportunities for you to grow and stay here as well. Next slide, Rebecca. And so part of what we're also seeing that is there are a lot of changes and challenges that are coming to the region, but that are not just agnostic for us, but for the nation as a whole. Specifically, Rebecca, next slide. AI is a big topic that we're hearing around DFW. Like, what is it going to do for jobs? How is it going to change things? How do you use it effectively and ethically, right, to not get rid of a ton of jobs? But what we're kind of hearing though is that it's going to be really impactful to like help drive business success as well. But the key component here though is how effective can you use AI, right? People's jobs are not necessarily going to get taken away by AI that we're seeing. It's more of the folks that are going to be really successful and kind of have those opportunities to grow and advance their careers are going to be able to use AI in a meaningful way to help their careers and their work. And so that's kind of the big thing that we're seeing with AI is how can you use it effectively to help yourself? So it's a big challenge for sure. Next slide, please. So what we're also seeing from a lot of companies is a big shift in the company culture, how they're thinking about things, what they're trying to do to be a good place to come and work for. If you go to the next slide, Rebecca. Part of what they're trying to do is adapt from some of the things that we saw from COVID and the pandemic of how are we going to bring folks in, but also make sure we're really being there for the employees as well. So one of the things that we're really seeing is there's being a ton of resources and focus being put behind mental health and those resources and supports. Many companies are trying to offer services that can be used free of charge. So you can speak to someone if you have challenges and you need help working through them. We're also seeing some changes in the workplace as well. We saw that with the COVID pandemic that, hey, you can kind of work from anywhere if you're able to, and you could do it pretty effectively as well. But some of our employers, it seems, are kind of still a little stuck in the old ways of you always got to be here in the office doing work. But then again, we know that sometimes that presents challenges as well. And so we've kind of seen a more adoption of a hybrid model and policy where you're in the office some parts of the week, but then you're able to work remote from other parts of the week. Here at the Chamber, we actually are able to work from home on Mondays and Fridays. And so that actually kind of helps out and provides a little bit more flexibility for us here at the Chamber to be able to get some work done, but also kind of not have to commute all the time as well as part of that. Next slide, Rebecca. Another thing that we're also seeing with our employers is, and specifically kind of hearing from the state of Texas and kind of at large, is that childcare is a huge, huge issue and need that needs to be addressed. One of the things from our public policy side of things is trying to advocate for better childcare benefits and opportunities and models that employers can use and adopt. Because one of the things that we see is that when an employer has a child care benefit offered or provides flexible hours or opportunities, right? They see a return on investment that is like 90 all the way up to 400 times from what they're putting into that benefit. So it really does make a ton of sense to be able to provide some of these opportunities and things to your workplace because it attracts talent. If talent knows that, hey, this company offers childcare or paternity leave, right? Then I'm more willing to go to that company and give it a little bit more effort and really stick with it, right? Because I know they're having my back as well. So we really want to make sure that childcare gets love and attention it needs because it's a very critical issue. If folks can't have people going to work to earn a living wage and make money for the family, we know that's going to set them back from being able to kind of prosper economically and kind of keeps that kind of cycle of poverty reoccurring that it doesn't help the region as well. Next slide, Rebecca. And so part of what we do here at the Chamber is we love our badges and shiny gizmos and gadgets. So one of the things we like to do from the Chamber is we have this initiative called Best Place for Working Parents Dallas. And what this does is companies are able to kind of scan this QR code and kind of assess their family-friendly policies. How does it look for maternity leave or paternity leave, right? What are the other benefits that they have for working moms or working dads? Do they have flexible hours? Do they have childcare assistance, right? And so this little assessment kind of scores them in a sense of do they have good family-friendly policies, or maybe they are not quite where they could be, and so maybe they need to reassess and look at what they have offered and can they find ways to include that as well. So as a note for y'all, as y'all are looking for jobs specifically here in DFW, if you see a company that has a Best Place for Working Parents badge, you know, hey, they're going to have my interest in mind a little bit, and they're going to try and help me out, especially if I have a family and whatnot. Next slide, Rebecca. And then specifically what the DRC loves to do is we have what we call our innovator awards. And so what we do is we look at a small business category, a medium business category, and large business. And we kind of look at these companies and see who has some of the best family-friendly policies. What are some really exceptional ways that these companies are trying to be family-friendly, be really mindful for their employees that have families of, here, we're going to give you 12 weeks of maternity leave, right? We're going to give the dads paternity leave, you know, that a lot of companies really don't offer very much. But then what are some other benefits as well? And so BCL of Texas, Grant Thornton, and Parkland Health were our 3 innovator awards for this previous year. And so we're still in the process now of kind of situating those innovator awards for this year as well. But those are just 3 good examples of they do really good family-friendly policies. And so go check them out. They'll be really great and helpful for you as well. I believe that is all I have, Rebecca, and we'll shift it over to you now.
Yeah, let's hope I don't have technical difficulties and I can remember when to shift my slides. Hi. Congratulations, class of 2024, if you guys are graduating. That's so exciting. And so Tyler did an amazing job setting the groundwork of the work that we are seeing that the companies here in the Dallas region are doing, and the work that, you know, Tyler and team and where we're supporting our members in making sure that the DFW region is the best place to live, work, and do business. So Rebecca Robinson, the Managing Director of Regional Marketing. I'm going to go through, again, some high overview of the Dallas region and really help you guys say yes to Dallas, and you will and kind of talk about finding jobs here in the region and other things about culture, lifestyle, and things like that. So next slide, Rebecca, let's do this. So one of the great things, and this is just such a great map, and so when Tyler laid the groundwork of the amazing work that our organizations are doing here in the region, I think one thing that is really great to see is how large our region is, and by population, this is just a phenomenal map showing by population how big some of the cities here in the region are compared to other cities around the country. And so this is not by any means to overwhelm you. I think this is something that, shows a great opportunity and great growth, and there's room to grow and just a lot of great space to continue moving up in your careers. And by this, and we'll talk more, the region is made up of over 200 smaller cities. I mean, Dallas and Fort Worth by no means are small cities, but when we keep saying Dallas and Dallas region, we talk about the whole DFW metroplex of 200 plus cities. So since 2010, DFW's added more jobs than the total number of jobs in New Orleans, Jacksonville, Raleigh, or Oklahoma City. So with this, we continue to see job growth, and especially post-pandemic, the Dallas region was one of the cities that we saw was able to come out of the pandemic and fill those jobs, but also just exceed and continue to grow. So as we are pulling metrics, we continue to see that there's so much growth in the Dallas region, and it's not stopping. We're just getting started as we look more into, later in 2030 as well. Just when we think about the 5-year projection, lots of numbers here, and something just kind of high level that I want you guys to take away with you is that, so the next 5 years, DFW is projected to increase its share of the Texas economy. So when we look at the amount of what we're producing in the Dallas region, we are producing a third of the economic output in the state of Texas. So here in North Texas, all of the work that we're doing is really helping the state of Texas itself and the economy. So one thing is we see that there's an increase in jobs, and we are representing a third of jobs in Texas as well. And so I know Tyler mentioned how, in other cities, you think about Houston as oil and gas, and, we think about Austin as tech. We have also seen that is a misconception. We actually have a third of all tech jobs here in DFW. A third of tech jobs in Texas are here in DFW. So don't go to Austin, say yes to Dallas, and come here if you're looking for a tech job. There's lots of opportunity and lots of growth. And with all this growth, there's just more jobs and great places to grow within your careers as well. So when we keep, we talk about growth and just like, what does that look like, and what are we looking, what kind of projects are we seeing, what is happening? So Tyler made a great point about there's a huge financial, services growing here, but that's not the only thing. So our business climate is making it a really great mix for all industries, and that also includes life science, that also includes technology, that does include healthcare, manufacturing. So a lot of different things in different industries. So it's not just one thing, and you don't have to ride your horse to work, at least not on the first day. So tons of information. I think a lot of good questions. Have there been any questions in the chat? Not sure, I can't see it. Making sure okay, cool. I see Tyler said no. So just making sure if you guys have any questions as I go through some of these next slides, feel free to plop them in there. So we have all this great information about the Dallas region, but truly we know that you are here today because you're like, I need a job. How do we get plugged into the Dallas region? And what are some great resources that I can use as you take your step into your career? So we have Say Yes to Dallas. It's a talent attraction campaign that we launched in 2017. Our skyline is not this saturated every single night, but it's getting there. So one thing that we saw here at the Dallas region is that, yes, we work with our member companies and we want to provide the best place for them to come here and do business. But the companies are one thing. We need to help individuals fill those jobs in those companies. Thank you, Tyler. I see that you plugged in the website. That's why we work great together. So I'm going to go through some Say Yes to Dallas resources. Tyler sent the link for the website. And then this will help you as you transition to the Dallas region, because you will say yes to Dallas. And we're going to make your transition as smooth as possible and give you tons of resources as you're looking for jobs, as you're thinking about where you're going to live, schools and other things. So our campaign is split up into 4 main pillars. So we have jobs. We're going to help you find a job, and you can search for jobs on our website. We have a living map. We'll talk through details of each one of these. We'll talk about apartments and housing, getting around, education, parks and outdoors, because when you're not at work and you're not at home, you're going to want to find your group and you're going to want to find your community. So different places to explore that. We have that little hint of fall weather this week, and then culture, also talking about the diversity of our region. And like I said, we don't all ride horses to work, and just really breaking those misconceptions and talking about how amazing our region is. So jobs and economy, again, going back to what Tyler said, and we can't emphasize enough about the growth that we are seeing here with companies moving here. So 21 Fortune 500 companies, 47 Fortune 1000 companies. What are Fortune 1000 companies? I mean, those are the names that you probably have in your home: AT&T, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, McKesson, a lot of our great members here. But these big household names are companies that are making a footprint here and deciding to call the Dallas region home. And so, and like we keep emphasizing, we're number one among the large US metros that we keep seeing year over year job growth. And then Source Wallet Hub does a survey every year. And in 2024, some of the top 100 cities for jobs were Irving, Dallas, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, Arlington, and Garland, all here in the Dallas region. So we continue to always see some of the cities in our region make that list, which is really great. And like I mentioned earlier, 1/3 of Texas tech jobs are here in the in DFW, and then 0% income tax, which is really great in every paycheck. So jobs, and where do we have? So if you go to sayyestoDallas.com and that link that Tyler sent, like I said, we're split up into 4 different sections. So if you go to the jobs tab, we make it super, super easy for you. What kind of job are you looking for? So you can go and type in education, maybe you want to be a teacher, or, maybe you want to go into management. You can type that in there and it'll give you a list of jobs within the whole region, hiring open positions in the whole region. We also have trending industries in the region. So tech and healthcare. If you go to those pages, we have specific tech jobs, specific healthcare jobs, and we also have some educational programs that you can plug into if you want to further your resume and education in those specific industries. And then we also include our featured employers, which are members of the chamber who are also hiring and have some jobs that they're promoting here in the region. So lots of resources for you. And also on that jobs page, you can find by industry. If you're looking into marketing, you can filter by different industries there to see the different jobs within the whole region. And then as you explore on that jobs page, we do have free and training employment resources. So connecting you to the different workforce solutions resources that we have here in the Dallas region. And then also, like we mentioned, we have more information on the Fortune 1000 companies, a college to career page, which will be really helpful for you guys, and then information on startup companies here in the region. But taking a deeper dive into college to career, just because that is perfect for you guys right now. We just launched a college to career page this year, and we've made it really easy to have entry-level jobs in the Dallas region. So we've taken it a step further. So if you go into that page, you're able to see specifically entry-level jobs by industry. They're all over the region. So anything you want to look for, we'll have on there. And then also just different information on, different vibes, parks and outdoors, and then just our cost of living calculator, which we will talk about in a second. So lots of great things about jobs, but once you dig in and find that job that you're going to go to, you need to find a place to live, and we want to help make that transition as easy as possible for you. So as we've emphasized, the Dallas region is the largest metro in Texas. With 8.1 million people, we have 13 counties and 200 plus cities to explore. And I emphasize this is by no means anything, if you are from a small town, this is not to be overwhelming. If you want that big city feel, we can give that to you. If you also want that smaller town feel, you're able to find that here in the Dallas region. So you do not have to feel like you are all sitting in rush hour together with 8.1 million of your favorite friends. So even though it can feel that way sometimes, on our website, so we went through the jobs tab, you go to the living tab, we have this interactive map. So this map is interactive where you can click on any one of the cities. And if you, for example, if you click on Plano, that will take you to the Plano page. You can find more information on that city. If you hover over Grand Prairie, it also tells you high level, average rent, population, average home price, and it gives you a little more of those details so you're able to see what you're getting yourself into, depending on your budget, your family, if you're moving with children, where you're going to work, and so you're able to find that information. And because the city of Dallas is big and there's a huge difference on prices just wherever you live in a big city, if you click on the city of Dallas, we have broken that down to neighborhoods. So you're able to find that same information on population, average apartment price, average home price by neighborhood in the city of Dallas, just to give you an idea and really help you out. Finding an apartment in Mountain Creek is going to be completely different than White Rock area. So just really wanting to be transparent as you are searching a place to stay, and also what is closest to your job. So we talk about, where you live, and really getting around the Dallas region can be is something that is really important as you commute. So we do have, something very typical in the state of Texas, 90% commute by car, truck, van. Really, the state of Texas is not as big like New York with, public transportation, even though we do have the longest train system here. It's just more common for people to commute through that. Thank you for joining us. I see someone's leaving. So we do have a big web of highways and interstates here that connect the Dallas region. And if you aren't from here, toll tags are big. You don't need to take a toll road for everything, but having that toll tag can save you a lot of time if there's a big accident sometimes. And again, all this information, I'm going very high level, but you can find a lot of more details on our website on Say Yes to Dallas, on those highways, on the different toll tag prices, and just more information, especially on our airports, which I will touch on next. So one of the great things that has helped the Dallas region become who we are and how great we are truly are our 2 airports that we have here. So one, the really cool thing is that you can reach anywhere in the US in less than 4 hours. And that is truly going to New York or Seattle. Miami, you can be anywhere within 4 hours. If you're going to go travel for fun, if you're going to go, travel for business, this is a really great thing and a really good resource that we have here in our region. So DFW being home to American Airlines and Love Field being home to Southwest, it's just a great way to connect to the rest of the world. And we continue to see an enormous amount of economic growth because of our airports and the way that we're able to help our businesses here because of our airports. And I cannot continue to emphasize that in seeing this huge growth. And just, as we talk to different companies, this is one of the most attractive pieces. So business-wise, having these airport here is great. Your Amazon package is a lot sooner too. So that's a great incentive. But also just if you're traveling and need to connect to anywhere in the world, you can almost find a direct flight anywhere. So talking about connectivity and, when you want to stay here, where do you hang out? And so this week is perfect because the weather is actually perfect and it's cooperating. But you think of Texas and you think of the Dallas region, and I don't think the first thing most people think about is parks and outdoors. We do have over 230 sunny days a year, which some of them can be over 100, but it's still sunny. But lots of parks to explore, over 400 miles of trails, we have over 30 lakes, and people don't think about the lakes that we have, and lots of activities to be outside and boating, and then over 25 dog parks. So just as people move to the Dallas region and think about, what are things to do, there's a lot of opportunity to also hang out outside and not just be inside in the AC, even though we do have good options for that too. And because we are such a large region, that just brings a lot of room for diversity and it's a great melting pot. So as we emphasize that 8.1 million people, that means that we have over 230 languages spoken here in the Dallas region, with 19.1% of our residents being foreign born. And so that, again, just brings a lot of that great diversity. Also in the workplace, a great diversity, in their neighborhoods and, schools, and truly is a melting pot here. When we say we add more than 400 people daily, that's not 400 people in U-Hauls coming in every day. That also accounts for births. So if that kind of helps not make it as scary, there's not a bunch of U-Hauls just coming in every day, except you guys will. So we talked about, so we have parks and outdoors in talking about the great diversity that we have here. One thing that is a huge misconception is that we don't have that big art scene, and just seeing that we have over 175 museums and galleries, a lot of community theaters. So there's always there's always something going on. There's always room to grow and learn about something different, something super diverse. These are just a list of some of the museums that we have, and really popular. And these are nationally known museums here within the Dallas region. So it's something that always great to explore on those really hot days if you have a family, or just kind of getting to know what the Dallas region is made of. But if you want to cool off at night, we also have a big nightlife. And if that's something that you're into, there are different areas and different districts for you to really find your vibe and find your community. So really, Dallas is what you want to make of it, and the Dallas region is. So every single one of these different areas has something unique to offer. And so as you are exploring the Dallas region, you can find what you think is really fun. I mean, there's a lot of outdoor concert areas. You can kind of find that Nashville vibe of, outdoor music and concerts, but also little higher end things in Greenville, maybe, and kind of the speakeasies. So really, it's what you want to make of it and how you want to build your community. Can't do this without talking about shopping. And so again, just talking about, if you see, and this is just, again, high level places, there's so many different places to explore, whether you want to go you're more into the shopping, if you're more into the museums, if you're more into sports. Some of these names you might know of, some of them are playing right now. And so we do have major league teams here in the Dallas region, but something also so unique and so special, like the Super Kings, which is a professional cricket team that just moved here to the Dallas region, I believe last year or 2 years ago. Dallas Trinity just started their season. It's a women's soccer team. And those are all of our major league teams, but also have minor league teams like the Frisco Rough Riders, which is a minor league baseball team. We also have Team NB, that's esports. So anything you want to plug into, we have that here in the sports, in such a big sports region. And if you don't like any of these teams, and you like a team from somewhere else, they're more than likely going to be here at some point playing one of these teams. So you can also see your team here play in the Dallas region. And one of the great resources that we have on our website, and as you're making that decision to say yes to Dallas and kind of think about where you want to move, we have our cost of living calculator, which I think is just a great resource as you're shopping around and deciding where you want to move. So what you do with our cost of living calculator, it's a drop down, very interactive as well. So you put the city that you're moving from, and it has cities from all over the country where you're moving to, and it gives you 3 options. It gives you Dallas, Fort Worth, or Plano, and then you enter your current salary, and it will help identify the cost of living here versus, LA, Houston, or, it doesn't have to be major cities, Lubbock, Texas, or just anything in the different prices on household goods, on rent, housing, dog food, just the most random. We've kind of selected some good items that we think will help you determine on why you should move to the Dallas region and what makes sense as you're making those decisions. And so, as we've talked about, really here and say, yes, we want to be a good resource to you. And, we've talked about you looking for a job, you looking for a place to live. How much is it going to cost if I do move there? One thing that I really leave you guys, and it's all on our website, is we have an essentials and newcomers guide. So our essentials guide, we've basically broken down the website into chunks where you're able to dive deeper. And if you want to learn about education, go to our education page where we have pages on private schools, public schools. What does that look like here in the Dallas region? Different colleges. We have a weekend guide of different places to go hang out. One of my favorite things, I think, are the My Dallas stories here, where we almost, I look at it, they're like Google reviews, but for the Dallas region. So when you want to go anywhere, you kind of look up what the Google review is, and our My Dallas stories are interviews of people who have said yes to Dallas and why they love the Dallas region from all different kinds of backgrounds and why they've grown here and have loved the Dallas region. And then our newcomer guide, which is takes again a deeper dive into each one of these categories and has some great stories and great information on the growth of the region, and just more information as we keep gathering it. So with that, any questions, thoughts, concerns?
That was a great information. Thank you so much, Tyler and Rebecca, for sharing that. If you have any questions, feel free to use the chat feature to plug those in, or if you'd like to come off mute, just raise your hand and I can take you off mute as well. All right, so it looks like Tevin, hope I'm pronouncing that right, has a question. I can go ahead and get you unmuted here.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. So I'm graduating next year in software development, and I know a lot of these companies are right now doing, I guess, onboarding for stuff like that. Do you happen to know if it's kind of a seasonal thing where they mostly look for people or interns during certain seasons and it kind of dies out after, or is it kind of a rolling basis?
Tyler, do you want to take a stab or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it can be seasonal at times, right? As folks graduate from college and things like that. So I'd say there is some seasonalities to it as well. But because of the growth that we're seeing and how many companies are kind of needing these positions filled, we have there's a link that we have on our website that I'll see if I can drop it in the chat after this, but it kind of looks at the DFW like IT talent pipeline to say how many like software developing jobs do we have in the region. And I think last time I checked a couple weeks ago, it was still quite a bit. Like there's a lot of need for software developers here in our region because a lot of companies are needing to develop their software and find cheaper alternatives and things like that. So um, it's not entirely seasonal, but there's still probably some like usual seasonalities that occur.
Okay, thank you.
Great question, Tevin. Next here we have, what do you all enjoy most about living in Dallas? And are there any challenges about living there?
I made Tyler go first earlier, so I feel like, I think one of the challenge I think truly can be sometimes the traffic, and because of all of the growth that we're having, there's a lot of construction going on, and so sometimes that can be a bit of a pain point if you don't time it the right way. So I think that for me might be one of the biggest challenges, but I think what I enjoy the most is that there's always something to do. I'm able to hide in my nook and be at home and do things around my neighborhood if that's what I would like to do and if that's how I want to spend my weekend, but also I mean, just like this weekend coming up, at actually a colleague friend invited me to a wine festival. We're going to go stomp on grapes. And on Sunday, I'm going to go to the Cowboys game. So there's a variety of different things that you can always do and find some fun things. But there will be traffic as I go to both of those.
Yeah, yeah, traffic can be a little messy sometimes, but kind of like what Rebecca said, there quite literally is like always something to do. For instance, we have like a zoo membership to the Dallas Zoo here, and so what my wife and I will take our son and just go like we can just go on a weekend or something, and go and swing by the zoo and see all the fun stuff. There's all sorts of stuff that's happening in Frisco. Like I think Universal is building like a theme park, studio park, up there in Frisco that is going to be like really massive and huge. So like there are pockets around DFW where there is so much stuff that you can do. And so there's never like a a bored moment, if you will, if you're kind of looking for some of those stuff. So it really is a lot of fun stuff to do, and kind of I guess why we stick around in spite of the super hot weather during the summer.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca and Tyler, for that answer there. And thank you, Addison, for the question. We have another great question from Charlotte. What networking opportunities or industry events does the Chamber recommend to build connections in the area?
I was like, again, I think one of the great opportunities that we have, Elizabeth Cottle McLean is actually on the call as well, who is our SVP of Talent and Leadership Programs. So we do have leadership programs here at the Dallas Regional Chamber. And so one of the great programs that we recommend for people to join is our Young Professionals program. And so with that, you network with other organizations, young professionals within our member and non-member organizations here in the Dallas region. So yes, we do have those happy hours to network, but there's community service events, different leadership programs and seminars, and talking to other professionals here in the Dallas region. So that's a really great way to plug in to a professional program that's not limited to just one industry and really diversify your networking group. So I can drop the link in the chat to our leadership programs here soon.
Yeah, and I'll also say that that's also a great opportunity, but they're also within the different industries that exist here in DFW. There are tons of networking happy hours that organizations will put on. One in particular that comes to mind is an organization called Bio North Texas, and they will from time to time put on like networking happy hours for folks to come and just connect on all things like life science related. And so that can be in all sorts of different industries as well. But yeah, no, there's if you're looking for an organization, odds are they probably have some sort of like happy hour or networking opportunities as well.
Awesome. And then we do have a hand raise here from Soraya. Hope I pronounced that right, but I'll go ahead and unmute you here. All right, you should be able to unmute and ask your question. Or maybe if you're not able to get that feature to work, you can always use the chat as well. Let's see here. So Ryan, not sure if that worked for you. I did give you the option to unmute, but if that doesn't work, feel free to use the chat there. Any other questions we have today for Tyler and Rebecca? Okay, looks like we will get it in the chat here. And while we wait for that question there, just as a quick reminder, I will be sending this out via recording. And then if you have any questions later on, feel free to email that to us and I'll make sure to fill that through to Tyler and Rebecca here as well. All right, so it looks like the question has come through here. There are direct jobs with Dallas Regional. I'm curious, as someone who is graduating, on how you would suggest applying.
I'll answer this in two ways because I'm not direct jobs through our chamber. We are hiring here at the DRC, so you can always go to dallaschamber.org to see what roles we have. But we do not have a direct jobs feed on our website. So the way that you can find jobs so if you go to dallaschamber.org, it's to apply for jobs at the Dallas Regional Chamber. Come be our teammate. We always love new friends. The second way to find jobs in the Dallas region is to go to sayyestodallas.com and go to that jobs page and see open positions around the whole region. Thank you, Tyler. And just truly, the Say Yes to Dallas will be that good resource as you look for those jobs. But on the Dallas Chambers, Regional Chambers website, we do not have a jobs feed on that. I hope that helped.
All right, and then Tevin, I didn't know if you had another question. I see your hand is raised here.
Yes, I do have another question. Um, so as someone like me and I know a lot of us at WGU, or a good percentage of us, are career changers, what are some advice or suggestions that you guys would offer going from, say, education or, finance or something to a different career in the area?
Good question, as I was one who did a career change as well, I guess. But I think just be open to all sorts of different roles and possibilities. Don't feel like you've got to silo yourself into one specific career pathway or the other. Because prior to joining the chamber here, I was a high school science teacher for a couple years, and so um, there's with the diversity of the industries that we do have here in DFW, there's always going to be a way to where you can try and connect those skills that you've learned and developed in your previous work experience to those new careers. And so just always making sure that you're trying to in your resume or cover letters, right? That you're trying to just speak to those transferable skills. Because that's also one thing we're seeing with our company is that they're trying to become more of a skills focused in terms of their hiring methods and saying, okay, what skills have you developed over your career and how do they translate to our jobs that we need filled right now? So we're starting to get there. We're trying to push some more folks along towards that path, but definitely don't be shy to try different industries for sure, because most likely some of your skills will transfer 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions? I don't see any in the chat. I love the engagement. Thank you to everyone who asked such great questions here. And then, like I mentioned, if you do think of anything later on, feel free to send us those via email, and we'll make sure to those reach Tyler and Rebecca here. But I do not see any other questions come through. So we'll go ahead and wrap up our session. Just as another quick reminder, we will be sending this recording out along with the survey, and we'd really appreciate it if you could take a couple minutes to complete that survey there. We also like to extend a huge thank you to Tyler and Rebecca for your time and the valuable insights you shared today. I know you mentioned Elizabeth's also on the call, so I've worked with her. She's also from the chamber. So we've had great engagement and impact from the Dallas Regional Chamber here. So thank you so much for sharing the insight and then also for your passion in the workforce development here. We've had great discussions today, so we genuinely appreciate your time. For the rest of those who attended today, please don't forget to keep an eye out for the upcoming quest sessions. And then other than that, wishing everyone a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.